Well, g'day everyone. This is your 2021 Italian Grand Prix Fantasy Review, brought to you by Fox Blockhead. The Italian Grand Prix, another ripper of a race. In first place, fantasy-wise, and in the race, Daniel Ricciardo, 58 points. Second place, what a weekend. Valtteri Bottas with 57 points. What a weekend. Pole position, first in the sprint. Came from the back of the pack. Nice racing Bottas, and Norris third, 41 points. The top team, as expected, was McLaren. And Daniel Ricciardo, if he hadn't have got the fastest lap, Bottas would have been number one. And that's how fantasy points are different from the actual real race. Fantasy points matter. They matter. The driver result now. And this is the full driver result from the Italian Formula One Grand Prix Fantasy Analysis. Fourth from the bottom, Lewis Hamilton, 1.1. Those places he lost in the sprint and then getting taken out by Max. Coming together with Max. Plenty of value to be had though. Ocon, Russell, Stroll, Sainz, Perez, Leclerc, Norris, Bottas. The top value was Daniel Ricciardo, just pipping out George Russell. Constructors results, this is it. McLaren, Mercedes, 87 points with a value of 4.68. Wow. Now all of these values are going to be slightly more inflated this round because it was a sprint race. But nevertheless, they count. They count. The dream team looks like this. Ricciardo, Bottas, Norris, Leclerc, Russell and McLaren for 95.4 million. That's pretty good. Now I couldn't go close to 100. Because that's the value. That's where it is. Everyone was value. Because Max ended up down the bottom. Lewis ended up down the bottom. That is the value. 356 points. If you got that team there. Now, not sure how many people had Ricciardo with the turbo. Saw a few Leclerc with the turbo. Norris with the turbo. Bottas in the team. George Russell still up there after his recent points hauls. And the dud team. The bottom five and the bottom constructor. Few minuses. 86.4 million is a decent total if you had Hamilton and Gasly, which again a lot of teams did. And if you put the turbo on Gasly, that's minus 20. After his result last weekend though, it would have been a good shout. Don't fault you whatsoever. New slide for you, the dream studs and then avoidable duds. These are the studs who've made the dream team this season. Out of 14 races, Norris has been a dream team participant selection in 11 races. Lando Norris. Wow, Max Verstappen in 9, Gasly with 7, Sainz with 5. So Gasly with the turbo, Norris with the turbo. They're decent shouts because they're making that dream team. They've got the value to finish up the top. Alonso, Schumacher and Russell. There's plenty of value. You could probably make your team out of those guys there and more often than not end up in the dream team. Although Alonso, Schumacher, Russell only 4 out of 14, so not the best. There's like 1 in 3, 1 in 4 races. But Red Bull have been the outstanding value pick for constructors. 7 times, 50% in the dream team. Ferrari with 2, McLaren with 2, and of course there's other people who've made it in there, other drivers, other constructors with less than 2, with 1 or none, no times, but these are just the top, these are the highlights that I'd like to bring you from now to the end of the season. Now the avoidable duds, these are the drivers that you don't want to look at more often than not, and there's lots of them because the duds get spread around, except for Mazepin, Latifi and Tsunoda, who are right at the top, 50% or better, or worse, depending on how you look at it. Well, you've got the 2 Alpha drivers, you've got the 2 Williams drivers, the 2 Aston Martin drivers, the 2 Alpha Tauri drivers in there. They're making up the dud team more often than not. But Gasly, he's in both. He's in both the dream and the dud team. Russell, both the dream and the dud team. So it's either hit or miss with those guys. And then Williams and Haas are the teams that you probably don't want to get to, making up 10 out of the 14 races in the dud team as the dud team's constructor. So, as the ads that are on TV for superannuation in Australia, past performance is not an indicator of future outcomes. But for some drivers, you can kind of tell that you want to stay away from them. So, anyway, just putting that out there. The bonus chance. Well, we had no one up for a bonus in qualifying in Italy. That's fine. Ocon though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did he make the points in the race? Oh yeah, that's 10 points for Esteban Ocon. Well done for making points 5 times in a row. Champion. And after that Hungary win, amazing. Amazing. Now the driver's bonus chance looking ahead. Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, Ocon, Gasly up for a qualifying streak in Russia if they can get past Italy. Well, 4 of the 5 did. Ocon didn't make Q3. So we've got 4 now in line for a bonus come Russia in qualifying. Remember, this is qualifying. Ricciardo, after his spectacular win in Italy, is up for a bonus come Turkey, so in 2 races' time. And then we had 4 of them on 1. Leclerc, Sainz, Giovinazzi and Alonso. And Alonso missed Q3. So now we have 3 drivers who will be looking at 1, 2, USA, I believe, is coming up. Now onto the race, Verstappen and Gasly. Unfortunately, neither of them made it to the points at the end of the race. Both of them actually DNF'd. So no drivers will be going for a bonus come Russia for the race. Hamilton and Leclerc, well, Hamilton crashed as well, so he's out. Leclerc's on a streak of 3 now. He's looking at a Turkey possibility. And then we have 5 drivers now on a streak of 2 for the race. Bottas, Perez, Norris, Sainz and Alonso. They'll be looking at a streak come USA. And if you have a sneaky look there, Sainz, he's on 2 and 2. So he could be a shout in 3 races time. Constructors bonus chance looks like this. We had Mercedes, Ferrari, Alpine. We already know that Ocon didn't make Q3, so they're out. But Mercedes and Ferrari, they're both on a streak now of 2 coming into Russia. Maybe the team to pick up. They are an expensive team though, an expensive team. Red Bull and McLaren, all 4 of those drivers got to Q3, so they are up for a bonus come Turkey. Ferrari, they were up for a bonus in the race. Did they get both their drivers into the points? They sure did. Plus 10 for Ferrari. Mercedes, Red Bull and Alpine, did they? Well, the Alpine drivers did. We had Ocon and Alonso both making the points. Red Bull and Mercedes both had 1 DNF. Do we need to talk about that anymore? So we have Alpine up for a bonus come Russia in the race. So where do you go? Mercedes, Ferrari, Alpine, bonus 5, bonus 10. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? If you have thoughts, drop them in the comments. Jump onto Reddit. McLaren, Italy, both drivers 1, 2. The first 1, 2 of the season. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? The first 1, 2 of the season. McLaren taking out the first 2 places in Italy. They are up for a bonus come Turkey, and they're going to be up for a double bonus if they can get through Russia. So maybe you need to make the changes now so you've got the space, so you've got the cash to splash come Turkey. Drop McLaren into the team instead of taking the bonus, or maybe you swap it, then you swap it again. Alright, another new slide. Now I've duplicated this slide here. These are the plus 2 bonus points claimed. So this is what it looks like right now. Verstappen and Perez have got 2 qualifying bonuses. Hamilton, Bottas, 2 qualifying bonuses. The Ferrari drivers 1 each. Gasly with 1, Norris with 2. So these are the drivers that have picked up the... Actually, that shouldn't be plus 2, that should be plus 5. My bad. Plus 5 for getting a qualifying streak. And then for the teams, they need to only get 3 races in a row where both drivers make it into Q3. And Hamilton and Bottas have got 4. That means that for 12 races in streaks, they've both made it to Q3. Now that's incredible for Mercedes. Doing an awesome job. Red Bull's closely behind on 3, and the Ferraris on 1 after 14 races. Now if they'd had a perfect season so far, Hamilton and Bottas, they could be up for 5 next race after 15. And then this one should be the plus 10 bonus points claimed. I'll fix that up for next race. So this is in the race. Verstappen and Perez have 1 each. Hamilton with 2. Sainz with 1. Gasly with 1. Alonso and Ocon 1 each. And Norris now has 2. So this is 5 times finishing in the points in a race. These are how many bonuses that the drivers have claimed. And then onto the teams. Ferrari with 2. Red Bull with 2. McLaren with 1. And Mercedes with 1. Now, as you would have seen, those are set to change over the coming weeks if we can get some of these drivers and teams on a streak. So have a look at that. Take that as you will. Remember that was meant to be a plus 10. Oopsie doopsie. Another stat that you might be interested in, fastest laps. So these are the drivers that have got fastest laps. You get 5 for fastest lap, 3 for the fastest lap in sprint, or for Belgium, half points because it wasn't really a race. So Verstappen is 25.5 fastest lap points, Hamilton with 23, Bottas with 10, Ricciardo, Gasly and Perez with a fastest lap each. So take that where you will. And you know, some of these races, it could go anywhere. Could be someone from down the grid wanting to take the fastest lap, even though they don't get World Championship points for it. They might want to take it off a different driver. So there you go, fastest laps, another stat for you to keep on top of for your fantasy teams. The drivers' standings now look like this. Hamilton in front of Verstappen by 2.5 points. That's it. After 14 races, 2.5 points separate the top two. Norris consolidating third, Bottas jumping up to fourth, Ricciardo making a charge to eighth. Plenty of value there as well. If you have a look at those yellow highlights, the bottom 11 it should be now because of Kubica, who is actually in second last. Kubica is beating Mazepin in the fantasy competition, even though he's only raced for 2 races. Raikkonen not being able to add to his tally for the last 2 races has dropped a few places. Sorry, that's just funny. The constructors looks like this. Mercedes over Red Bull by about 25 points. McLaren taking Ferrari for third now with a slight price drop. Alpine with a slight price rise, taking fifth. Williams jumping over Alfa Romeo by 10 points now in the fantasy competition. There you go. Hopefully this is helpful for you. So this is qualifying driver battles. This is the bonus 2. So if you beat your teammate in qualifying, bonus 2 for you. We've got Gasly and Russell, the only 2 perfect records. But we also have Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, and Schumacher, all with 10 or more, double digits, beating their teammate out of 14 races. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Alonso and Ocon, 7 apiece. That is a tight battle at Alpine. The race battles look like this. Russell, Gasly, Norris all on 10. Schumacher on 12. Wow, he's actually winning. After 14 races, he's got the most times that he's beat his teammate in the race. Verstappen and Hamilton on 11. Wow. And Alonso and Ocon, 7 apiece. Who are you going to pick if you pick an Alpine driver? Well, seems to be a race about. Off to the Fantasy League now. If you'd like to join, jump onto fantasyformula1.com. That's the league code. You can join the private league and you might be highlighted right here. First place in the Italian Fantasy Formula 1 League, the Blockheads League. We have Bobo's winning team. The double on Norris took McLaren, Bottas, Verstappen, Russell and Sainz. Decent result, 284 points. Well done, Bobo. Bobo's winning team. Second place, a new team. The turbo was on Ricciardo. Unfortunately, the mega on Hamilton. Imagine if that was the mega on Bottas. Could you have taken the risk though? Stroll, Norris, Schumacher and McLaren, 282 points. I think that was not many points. I think it was at 2 points. 2 points between first and second this week. Wow, but the turbo on Ricciardo, that was a gutsy move. Well done. And in third place, another new team, Scuderia Auguri. Hope I said that correctly. Bottas, Alonso, Schumacher, Ricciardo, Perez, and Ferrari, 265 points. Well done. Alright, so here's the whole Fantasy League. Have a look. The top teams getting around about the 200 mark. The bottom teams, between 160 and 200. No one fell too flat on their face, thank goodness. 1, 2, 3, Value City. 135, Burning Pistons. 140, Go Fast Don't Crash. Although Hamilton and Max went fast and crashed. So, how are we going to go with about 7 races to go? Is there 7? Is there 8 races? Something like that. Few people using their Mega Driver. 1 wildcard used that round in Italy. So I'll update that and we'll move on to the next race, Russia. The season calendar, Russia coming up next, then Turkey. So long as everything stays the way that it is, we still have a TBD between Brazil and Saudi Arabia, and another TBD on a sprint race. Where's the next sprint race going to be? We need one more. I think that the odds are on one of the America races. USA could be interesting. Mexico could be fun. Brazil, yeah, the jury's out on Brazil. But yeah. And I've also put boxes around the first time winners this season. So Hamilton, Verstappen, Ocon, Perez and Ricciardo all taking fantasy wins. There you have it. So Russia is next. September 24 to 26. We get a weekend off after the triple header. Qualifying back to Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. September 25th, local time. Check your time zone. Make sure you get your changes in. Good luck, everyone. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, leave me a thumbs up to say thank you. But until next time, my name is Fox Blockhead. This has been your Fantasy Formula 1 Italian Grand Prix review. I'll see you later, alligators.